This is the WellSpan Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals.
In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, it's more than just football. It's pride, it's history. It's the question that's been asked for generations: who runs the city? For decades, Harrisburg High School and Bishop McDevitt have been neighbors turned rivals. From the Market Street days to now, this is a matchup that divides friends, family, and neighborhoods, but unites a city in passion. It's a special Saturday edition of WellSpan Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals. This is the battle for the Burg. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I'm Phil Shanner, alongside former head coach at both Harrisburg and Bishop McDevitt, Ford Chapman. This game means a lot to a lot of people.
It sure does, and a lot of these players and coaches know one another for quite a long time, and super excitement in the air. We're in 2025, and aside from being at the Horseshoe right now, this is the second place in the whole country. I'd rather be right here at Severance Field.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Our spotlight players for Bishop McDevitt, their quarterback getting his second career start. Of course, Sebastian Williams struggled a little bit last week, just 110 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Of course, has the very tough job of replacing Stone Saunders. And then for Harrisburg, Messiah Mickens can do it all. The Penn State commit, 4 touchdowns a week ago in their win. Keys to the game for Bishop McDevitt: no turnovers, limit penalties. And for Harrisburg, they need to stop the run and put the pressure on the quarterback, who's making just his second varsity start. Last season, Harrisburg stunned McDevitt, an epic 35-33 overtime clash. And this afternoon, the Crusaders, they want payback. The Cougars want validation, and the Burg gets ready for another battle for the bragging rights. It's the battle for the Burg, and it's next on a special Saturday edition of WellSpan Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals on MyTV Central PA. Moments ago, Marcel Jones of the Harrisburg Star City Drumline provided our national anthem, brought to you by Pennsylvania National Horse Show Foundation. And now we're set for football. It's the Battle of the Burg. Bishop McDevitt and Harrisburg here at Severance Field. And Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, our state capital, and this is a game that a lot of people just could not wait for. Of course, Bishop McDevitt, they come into this game 0-1 last week, losing to Clarkson North of Canada 27-7, and Harrisburg in the same York Rose Bowl event, they beat Emotep Charter 40-26, so they're feeling good about themselves, 1-0. But for Chapman, we know this is the 38th edition of the Battle for the Burg. You could throw out the record books. This is a game that people have been talking about since last year's game ended in overtime at Rocco Hortensio Stadium, where Harrisburg won that classic game in OT. That has been the talk since that game ended to right now. We're about to kick off the 38th edition.
Yeah, fabulous football game for 4 quarters last year. Both teams played top-notch football. Obviously, there are going to be a handful of mistakes early in the season. And what you want here, interesting, you talked about both teams playing last week. McDevitt losing and Harrisburg winning. Both elected they could play anybody. They elected to play a big-time opponent week 1. I admire both of them for doing that.
Yeah, a team from Canada was a very good team. Coach Wechter talked just about how good that Clarkson North team was. And, of course, everybody in the States knows how good Emotep Charter is. So they both had very good games in York last week in the Rose Bowl event. And we are underway. There is our Good Feet Store kickoff out of the back of the end zone. So Harrisburg High will have the ball first on offense, and they had no problem scoring last week. Let's take a look at the mighty Cougars starting offense, and they certainly have a big-time playmaker in Messiah Mickens, and a good off-speed back to complement Mickens and Dent, and then Elias Koch, their top target on the wide receiver side, and an offensive line that's pretty good as well. They, of course, have Kevin Brown, the Penn State recruit, the right tackle. You remember Kevin last year, he was no more than a water boy as he was injured a season ago and wasn't able to play in this Battle for the Burg matchup. But He is on the field today at his right tackle spot.
And I really liked what Brown did last year, and we brought it up on our telecast. He was supporting his teammates. He was all over the sidelines, really being positive and an influence, even though he wasn't in uniform.
So Shank is the quarterback last week, 11 of 20, 142 yards last week. And they go right to the ground, and an 8-yard pickup by Messiah Mickens. Let's take a look at Bishop McDevitt's defense. This is a unit that Coach Wechter said the defense has a lot of guys back, so we're going to need our defense to play well until the offense catches up. 9 starters back from this team. The linebackers are great. Barnes is outstanding on the line. Thompson and Logan have been great. The secondary is good as well with Reinhardt and Mack and Smith for Bishop McDevitt's defense.
Kevin Brown, the first play of the game, just pancaked a McDevitt defender right there near the line of scrimmage. and he is hyped up, jumping up and down.
That's because last year he was the cheerleader and holding that water ball. Let's take a look at Kevin Brown.
Left side of the line, left side of the line, right there. Gets number 4. Number 4 had to take himself out of the game. Hopefully he's not hurt. That's Zach Brown that he hit. 3-man front for the Crusaders.
2nd and 2. Mickens gets it around the right side. He has the first down and more. Mickens knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line, but that was good enough for a kitchen saver first down.
It's obvious here that the Cougars are trying to establish the running game, but they have a lot of deep play threats. They're notorious for going for the home run eventually, and they're setting it up with some runs, forcing the McDevitt defense to try to curtail and contain it.
Mickens picks up 6 yards. Last week he had 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. He had a 63-yard and a 51-yard touchdown runs last week in their win over Emotep Charter. Finished with 168 yards in the ground. Gets the call again and goes forward for 4 yards. Mickens, of course, started his high school career, played 2 years, his freshman and sophomore years at Trinity, and then transferred to Harrisburg High School his junior year. Now he's a senior and he's a Penn State commit, and he is the real deal.
McDevitt showed a 4-man defensive line on that last play. They're mixing up their defense a little bit here with the front, and back at a 3-man front with one guy stepping up.
2nd and 6 from the 38 for Harrisburg. We're just underway here, the battle for the Burg. And they give it this time to hand off to Dillard, and he goes across the 40 down to the 43-yard line. Dillard had a 60-yard return of a kick last week, so he has some speed. He's dangerous.
Looks like the Crusaders may be playing 3-down linemen with 2 outside backers. Look at that 3-5-3 type of defense.
Of course, that was number 0, Princeton Dent, the 1-2 combination. Dent last week, 12 carries, 47 yards. He's a good change of pace back for Harrisburg. 3rd and 2 from the 43. First pass of the game. Koch with the catch. He has the kitchen saver first down. Almost at midfield. Gets up to the 49-yard line. And Koch, he is trouble. 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, a 60-yard and a 40-yard touchdown last week. He is the all-time leader in career passing yards and career touchdowns as a wide receiver for Harrisburg High.
And right there, they just threw a quick hitch. McDevitt obviously realizes they can't let him in single coverage much. They had a safety over the top, but still loose coverage, and was able to move the chains. The Cougars were on a nice pass. Look for this to potential be a bubble screen out to the right with the depth of the 3rd receiver.
Elias Koch, a Rutgers commit. Rutgers had a big win on Thursday night, their home opener, and a big completion and a pickup of 14 yards and another first down. And you called it. You knew that bubble screen was coming, and that's what came, and the completion to Shinkler, and a first down for the Cougars into Crusaders territory.
You'll see the quick stop pass to the 2nd receiver in. Wasn't sure if they were going to go to the 2nd or the 3rd guy, but the other 2 receivers there are blocking downfield, and they can block immediately, knowing the play's going to be thrown right out of the quarterback's hands after the snap.
So Sinkler had the catch and the first down for Harrisburg, and they take a timeout. We'll step aside as well. The Cougars moving the football in the opening drive of the battle for the Burg. Every yard, every hit, every point, it's all about pride. Capital City, battle for the Burg, 38 edition. Harrisburg on their opening drive, 9:10 to go first quarter. Have the football in Crusaders territory at the 39 with a 1st and 10. A couple good Mickens runs and also nice pass play as the Cougars going. Pass play here, downfield going towards the 10-yard line, and the catch is made inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, and a big pass play and completion for Harrisburg, and the completion to Lewis from
the
Shank.
Senior. Little hand fighting there towards the end. Great concentration by Lewis to keep his eyes as he's running, as he's backpedaling to catch that football. His eyes on the ball. Put it right in his breadbasket. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to catch it in your hands when you're turned around like that.
Inside the Bath Fitter red zone are the Cougars threatening to score, and their opening drive, 1st and goal from the 8-yard line after that big pass play from Shank to Lewis. A lot of people remember Lewis. Last year he was the quarterback in this matchup. Inside handoff up to the 5, and that's it. Good job by the Crusaders front line. Logan and Thompson up there trying to clog the hole, and they do.
If you saw there, they have big number 74, Kevin Brown. We've referred to him already. They had him in the backfield lead blocking, They did that in the district final last year. Brown came back late in the year after that leg injury, and he was able to, on offense, they put him in the backfield like that for some power runs. He's now going back to the offensive tackle on the right side.
2nd and goal from the 8-minute mark of the first quarter. Cougars opening drive, threatening to score in this battle for the Burg. Mickens with the football. Mickens into the end zone for the touchdown. A 7-yard touchdown run by Messiah Mickens. That's Mickens' 4th rushing touchdown of the season. And take another look with the Faulkner Honda touchdown. Mickens in from 7 yards.
Nice bounce there. And the Harrisburg offensive line, give them a lot of credit. They established the line of scrimmage on this entire drive. Granted, the long pass was very helpful. They're giving the quarterback time to throw as well. Really nice opening drive by the Cougars as they line up here in a muddle huddle. They may snap it. They are going to snap it and go for 2 here.
Shank throws it back to the end zone and has the 2-point conversion. Nice play. Right at the back of the end zone was Brown, the tight end, and put 2 on the board. And the mighty Cougars strike first. They lead at 8-0. Bishop McDevitt will have the football when we get back. Nine-play, 80-yard drive. The Cougars lead at 8-0. They got the 2-point conversion. Mickens, a 7-yard touchdown run. His 4th rushing touchdown of the season. He had 3 rushing touchdowns a week ago in the win over Emotep Charter. Had a receiving touchdown as well. Shank 3 of 3 passing for 50 yards. Koch 1 catch, 7 yards. Lewis, that big reception for 32 yards. Here is the Good Feet Store kickoff. Crusaders will take it from the 15-yard line and have their first opportunity on offense. The return up to the 35-yard line, and that's where Bishop McDevitt will have the football. Team that just scored 1 touchdown a week ago. Let's take a look at the scoring summary. Brought to you by Bella Concepts Remodeling, turning vision into reality. And there's the touchdown run by Mickens from 7 yards out. A 9-play, 80-yard drive. And they got the 2-point conversion, and Harrisburg leads at 8-0. Our Bella Concepts Remodeling scoring summary, turning vision into reality.
Heck of a second effort by Quick, the junior kickoff returner for McDevitt, fighting for an extra 2 yards there.
Quick is a playmaker. He is one of the guys offensively they need to get the ball. A lot of experience from Quick. Has a lot of time playing varsity football over the last couple of years. McDevitt keeps it on the run and keeps it on the ground, and running the football is a big key for them across the 45 to the 46. Let's take a look at this McDevitt starting offense. Jones Davis, he's the go-to back, the bell cow, but they have Barnes back there as well. Of course, we already talked about Sebastian Williams. But one thing, Stone Saunders is gone, and so are 2 tackles. They had to replace 2 tackles on this offensive line. So Coach Wechter realizes the offensive line is a lot different. And of course, the guy that's the quarterback is a lot different too. Sebastian Williams, making his 2nd career start, was a JV quarterback his freshman and sophomore year, but now he's under the varsity lights. They want to keep it on the ground, and they do, in a 9-yard pickup by Jones Davis. You have 2 great running backs by McDevitt with Jones Davis and Barnes, but Jones Davis has certainly turned to be the guy. Let's take a look at the Harrisburg defense. Last week gave up 372 yards of total defense against Emotep Charter, but they're a defense can get it done. One of the guys you got to look to, Mickens, well, he set the career in tackles for a loss in Harrisburg history in 1 season. Last year he had 39 tackles for a loss. That's the most of any Harrisburg football player in 1 season. And the Brown and the linebackers very good as well. So one thing that Coach Wechter said, he wanted to try to keep it on the ground, take the pressure off the quarterback. 3 good, solid run plays to open things up for this Crusaders offense.
We mentioned Harrisburg establishing a running game early with their first possession. Wow, McDevitt comes back. First two handoffs to Jones Davis, and he has vision. The first play of the game, offensively for him, he ended up taking a few defenders, an extra several yards to move the chains. They moved the chains again. That time it was Barnes. Impressive 1-2 combo running the football. The O-line for McDevitt gets high grades so far in the first 3 plays.
So Barnes got the kitchen saver first down. They keep it on the ground. Jones Davis, he has 13 yards and another kitchen saver first down. So it's been all on the ground. Jones Davis with his 3rd carry of the game, and all of a sudden Bishop McDevitt is approaching the red zone deep into Cougars territory. What a response to the Harrisburg touchdown here by the Crusaders offense.
I like the scheme there. They had a puller coming from the right side to kick out the end as they ran to the left side. Great positive yardage, and they're doing a lot of it without a tight end as they have 3 wideouts and 2 running backs in this set.
1st and 10 from the Harrisburg 25-yard line for the Crusaders. They give it right back to Jones Davis, who fights his way across the 20 down to the 19-yard line, and he finds himself inside the Batfitter red zone with that run. So impressive runs by this combo of Jones Davis and Barnes. Establishing the run was one of the keys of the game, and it was one of the keys that Harrisburg, that was one thing that the team from Canada did last week against the Crusaders. They took the running game away. Jones Davis last week just 14 carries for 52 yards. That's an average of only about 3 and 3.7 yards a carry last week for.
Yes, and Coach Wechter's got to be very pleased so far with this offensive output on the ground as they're in a pistol set here.
2nd and 4, and they give it to Barnes. Barnes has enough for a first down as they continue to march this drive with the 1-2 running punch of Jones Davis and Barnes. That was Barnes running for a kitchen saver first down.
Let's talk about an intangible here. It's existed many times in rivalry games, but McDevitt, from a mental standpoint, got scored upon in their first defensive spot. This offense coming out and really establishing the physical part is saying to this McDevitt football team, hey, we're going to match Harrisburg. We're right here. We're not going anywhere.
1st and 10 from the Harrisburg 14-yard line for Bishop McDevitt. Jones Davis bounces to the outside and then wrapped up.
Kevin Brown came from his opposite defensive end spot where he was lined up on that play to run down the line and make a decent stop, and that's the first significant limited gain that Harrisburg caused the Crusaders.
Only a half-yard gain. Kevin Brown, 6'5", 290-pound senior, did not play last year in this rivalry with the injury. Kevin Brown, a Penn State commit.
Baroa was there as well, number 9, linebacker for the Cougars, a junior.
Yeah, Broa's a junior. 13 tackles for Broa a year ago, as he played as a sophomore last season, was key for the Harrisburg defense. 2nd and 10 from the 14. Jones Davis running the football straight ahead, gets a yard and a half, almost 2 yards. But now what is the Harrisburg defense? How have they adjusted? Because the Crusaders just kind of lit them up on, 5 or 6 straight run plays.
Yes, well, remember, the closer you get to the goal line, the more chances a defense is going to take, the more they can line up and not really be too concerned about getting beaten deep because there's not as much green grass behind you, green turf, if you will. So they're making a sub here. They're bringing out Kevin Brown here, putting in a rush defender to be able to rush the quarterback here, number 11, Lewis.
So let's see if Sebastian Williams, the junior quarterback, will get his first opportunity, but he's going to keep it himself. Williams up the middle, inside the 5-yard line, down to the 2. And that's a first down. Draw play all the way for the junior quarterback, who was 13 of 26 passing last week. He took off and did what he had to do.
Love the play call. Let your quarterback, he still doesn't have to throw it. Let him tuck that ball, act like he's throwing, and have a set quarterback draw, run blocking up front. And that's a little bit different than saying, if nobody's open, we run a pass play, then you run it. That was a designed run. And it's 1st and goal. Knocking at the door here are the Crusaders in their first possession.
So the Crusaders trying to answer the 9-play, 80-yard drive by the Cougars. They have the ball 1st and goal from the 2-yard line, just 2 yards away from getting on the board. Inside handoff, pushing into the end zone and in for the score for the Crusaders. They give it to Barnes, who powers his way into the end zone for the touchdown. His first touchdown of the season for the 6'2", 215-pound senior. Here's another look at it, at our touchdown brought to you by Faulkner Honda.
They went to the lead back, the fullback there, to get pay dirt. And an extra point here. They're going to attempt the extra point, even though they're down 8-6. There's no sense. Coach Wechter's most likely thinking to chase points right now. Let's get the kicking game going and be down 8-7, which I don't blame him.
Grilla in for the kick, the extra point. The kick is up, and the kick is good. What a story there by the senior kicker, Grilla. Remember last year, he had a chance to end the game in regulation, the 52-yarder that would have won it for McDevitt, and it was almost the same kind of kick that won the state championship game for them when they won the 5A state championship. Grilla got the winning kick for them.
What was it, just wide, like going from right to left on your TV screen?
Just missed. It was so close, just missed, and of course he had the game-winning kick in the state championship win in the 5A title, a 34-31 win over Roman Catholic. Coming up next week, York Adams League against the Lancaster Lebanon team. That should be fun. Dallastown at Manheim Central. Manheim Central lost to Ephrata last night, 17-6. Dallastown, a 25-7 winner over Penn Manor. Of course, Dallastown finished 9-2 a season ago. They had a deep playoff run that ended against Harrisburg in their first round after their first round bye. So those are the two teams we'll have next Friday night. Back on Friday night at Manheim Central. Manheim Central had their first losing season since 1971 last year. They are 1-1 on the season, and they'll take on a Dallastown team that had a win last night over Penn Manor.
This one's going to be returnable.
Here's the Good Feet Store kickoff. And the return taken from the 11-yard line. A lot of times special teams and kickoff returns and punt returns can be so important in a series like that. That's Walker, the junior, who returned the kick. And there's a flag that came out after the play on the Harrisburg sideline.
A Harrisburg blocker drove a McDevitt player into the ground, out of bounds on the Harrisburg side. I'm not sure if they're going to call offsetting here, or a McDevitt player came in to help out his teammate and tried to get the Harrisburg player off of him. That's when the flag came up.
Penalty flag on the play.
Here we're getting the call from head referee.
Personal foul on Harrisburg. Personal foul on McDevitt. Those penalties will offset.
Let's take a look at the scoring summary sponsored by Bella Concepts Remodeling, turning vision into reality. Quarterback with the keeper set up. The touchdown run by Barnes and Jones Davis. 6 rushes, 40 yards. Barnes, 3 rushes, 14 yards in the touchdown. Sebastian Williams, that 1 rush for 11 yards. 10 rushes, 65 yards in all. And it's an 8-7 Harrisburg lead over Bishop McDevitt. There's your scoring summary brought to you by Bella Concepts Remodeling.
I like what the officials did there, throwing the offsetting penalties to send a message, hey, we're not going to let this stuff go. At the same time, it doesn't penalize either team.
Harrisburg 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Handoff, Mickens spinning, still on his feet, gets all the way up to the 45-yard line. And a gain of 15 yards, and that's good enough for a kitchen saver first down. Mickens.
Going back for decades, this rivalry, as you see the replay, Mickens having a big hole to run through. There's been a lot of mutual respect, even though both teams want to win more than anything. For the most part, it's been clean football, which is what you want.
15-yard run by Mickens. Mickens gets the carry again, makes a man miss, bounces to the outside, down the sidelines he goes, and he steps out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Mickens had big touchdown runs last week of 63 and 51 yards. That one almost was broken and went to the house.
Watch the vision. Watch the vision right here. He feels it, sees it, keeps his feet turning, and bounces outside all the way to the right. That's a sign of a very heady running back, and he's following the footsteps of a lot of big-timers here. We can go all the way back to Denny Green, the John Harris running back on this field before John Harris and William Penn joined. Also the senior class president at John Harris, went to Iowa.
33-yard pickup for Mickens, and they go to their second alternative running back in Dent, who powers for 2 yards.
Denny Green, head coach at
Cardinals?
Yes.
Minnesota?
Minnesota Vikings, Arizona Cardinals. Before that, the Northwestern Wildcats.
Yes.
We could keep going. Hank Poteet, Kenny Watson, Robert Tate, a lot of great ones that wore this Harrisburg uniform over the years. since it became the Harrisburg Cougars in 1971 football season.
I know a guy that got a couple of carries. Just signed a big contract with the Packers, Micah Parsons, right?
Yes,
he got a couple runs.
Yes, indeed.
Outside run by Dent.
Good team defense there.
Gets into the red zone. That's inside to the Bath Fitter red zone. On that short run by Dent, here's another look at it.
Tried to bounce it. A lot of defenders just came off their blocks and made good plays for the Crusaders. We're almost definitely in 4-down territory here. So Harrisburg, rather than kick a field goal from this long, one would imagine they know they have 2 downs to get these 8 yards.
3rd and 8, just inside the 20-yard line.
Koch by himself to the right, 3 receivers to the left. Koch being pretty much double covered here.
Koch is the most dangerous receiver that Harrisburg has in the completion. Good job there to get it quickly to Dillard. Dillard's first catch of the season. Lewis Dillard, the 5'8", 160-pound senior, with his first reception of his senior season. And the Cougars are shy of the first down by a few yards. And that's the end of the first quarter. Entertaining. Back and forth they go. What else do you expect? It's the Battle of the Burg, and it's a 1-point game. When McDevitt and Harrisburg meet, the city holds its breath. We're through 1 quarter. 4th and 2. Harrisburg with a 1-point lead, 8-7. Back in the red zone after their 9-play, 80-yard drive.
They're in a double tight trip set.
Ball goes to Dent. Dent has a lot of running room. Dent has a touchdown. Up the middle he went. And he's in from 14 yards out. Dent with his first touchdown of the season.
What I really like about that formation, they had 2 tight ends, as I mentioned, which, as you'll see on the replay here, a lot of gaps to cover for the Crusaders. They brought pressure. The linebacker there overran it. That was number 31, Duffy. And Dent found the hole. You also, as a defense, have to cover both tight ends and the 2 wide receivers that were wide right. So defenders still have to be worried about pass as well.
Dent, the 14-yard touchdown. That's the Faulkner Honda touchdown. And the mighty Cougars have a 14-7 lead. There's a penalty.
Offsides. They're saying somebody lined up offsides, but he pointed to the Harrisburg side, meaning somebody may have lined up. Let's see.
False start.
Okay.
The offense. Side yard penalty.
Jamie Johnson, our official today, with the call.
Now are they just going to go ahead and kick it? Or maybe go for 2 from the 8?
Well, they went for 2 their last touchdown, and it was a 2-point conversion. Brown, the tight end, had to catch in the back of the end zone for 2 and put them up 8-0.
I think they're just going to kick it, normal kick it from the 8. Play clock's already down to 20.
Harrisburg 2 for 2 on offensive drives. The opening drive for them, 9 plays, 80 yards. Mickens scored from 7 yards out.
They're going to go for 2 from the 8.
Yep, and Dent with that 14-yard touchdown. So 2 offensive opportunities and 2 trips to the house for the Cougars. They're going for 2. Shank passes it to the back of the end zone. Does he come down with it? He does. 2-point conversion. Pretty play.
His foot must have touched before his back when he landed, because the back, it looked like, may have landed out of bounds.
Lewis Dillard.
Lewis Dillard.
Yep. Here's another look at Lewis Dillard's catch. Did he have that 1 foot in?
Ooh, it was close. It looked like his butt hit just inbound. He may have touched inbounds with his rear end. Watch it. Let's see what touches first. I don't think the foot, that touch right there, it's so hard to tell. Yeah, his butt touched inbounds. His back thigh hit inbounds first. I think it was a good call. If his foot did not touch, it was so hard to see.
What a catch for Dillard, who his highlight of the win over Emotep Charter last week, he took a kickoff 60 yards. That was something there. Well, this afternoon's special Friday Night Rivals Saturday edition live stream is sponsored by Care Property Services. The only call you need. Getting ready for another good feed store kickoff. So Harrisburg 2 opportunities offensively, 2 touchdowns. Cougars scoring, and the Crusaders 1 opportunity on offense, and they have the 1 touchdown as well. The return up to the 41-yard line, and that's where Bishop McDevitt will have the football for the 2nd time this afternoon.
Certain years, Harrisburg has a decent kicker, even like a short for extra points and short field goals. It appears this year they don't. And because of that, that's why they went for 2 from the 8-yard line. And that could end up being an issue when you really need that short field goal to win a game. Or go up by 2 scores.
Here's the scoring summary sponsored by Bella Concept Remodeling, turning vision into reality. And the touchdown run from Dent from 14 yards out, and a 2-point conversion. Good to put the Cougars up. Big run here to start things off for the Crusaders. The ball was left behind on the turf.
He was down.
Was he down? Yes, he was. They're going to say he was down after a 15-yard pickup and a first down. Here's another look.
LaRue, what a hole opened up. Yeah, the ground caused the fumble, which it cannot. But heck of a run. McDevitt has this 3-man punch that can, from the running back position, that is really wreaking havoc early in this game.
Yeah, that was the first carry for LaRue, the sophomore, who last week only had 2 carries for no yards, but last season had 41 carries for 288 yards and 4 touchdowns. And LaRue at 15 yards, and the Crusaders find themselves in Cougars territory. Little play action, they get it to the outside in open space down the field, running down the sideline. There's a penalty marker down, but going all the way to the house is Quick, the top playmaker, but we'll have to wait. There's a penalty marker down at the 35-yard line.
Yes, probably holding, Phil, on the outside receiver. Nice scheme. They're just firing the ball out to an athlete. Got a lead block. Maybe too much of a lead block, according to the officials. I'd like to see it again. It looks like it might be the split end number 18, Gage Ruth, the 6'3 senior wideout, who allegedly was holding the defender.
Holding on the offense.
So that'll wipe out that touchdown play.
Here you see it on the outside.
Yep, right there.
Oh, yeah, he's actually grabbing his face mask. Good call. Very good call. But unfortunately for McDevitt, Quick down that sidelines. Really nice job for the quarterback. Was that his first throw of the game?
It was.
Yes.
Time to raise the roof. Abel Sun Roofing and Siding brings us to raise the roof this afternoon here in Harrisburg. They go to the ground to Jones Davis, who had an awesome first drive, and he's shy of the first down, stopped at the 31-yard line, just a yard short of the first. So you mentioned the 3 running backs. Jones Davis is the bell cow, then Barnes, and
he's
then
down
Rue.
Right Jones Davis is down. I hate to see that.
Not
Hopefully
good
not
at
bad.
all. That's one guy they cannot be without.
Maybe, I don't mean to speculate, but hopefully it's yeah, it looks like it's just a cramp. Thank goodness. You don't want to see players getting hurt, especially this early in the season with their whole season ahead of them.
OSS Health, high-quality orthopedic care. The injured player is Jones Davis. It looks to be just a cramp, which, of course, Jeff Wechter will breathe a sigh of relief if does not want to have his top runner injured. Jeff Wechter in his 28th season.
Coach Wechter's over there right now talking to 2 officials during this game, and you can envision what he's saying. He said, "Are you sure that was a hold outside?" If he sees the film, he would realize, yeah, not only did he hold, he grabbed his face mask, and
we had a great look at it on the replay. You could see the holding call clear as day.
Our camera crew here, and with Jamie Wechter in the truck. I'll tell you, we're fortunate. We get a lot of views, and you saw it right there. Look at these McDevitt uniforms. A close-up look at that with the gold numbers.
Yeah, the beautiful shining gold helmet.
Yes, Under Armour uniforms from head to toe. The MCD logo down there on the right, on the left, on the pant.
On a Saturday afternoon, the sun just beams right off those helmets. Give it to Barnes. Barnes has the first down. That's a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down for Barnes, who picks up 3 yards.
What a lot of teams are doing out of shotgun nowadays, even at the high school level. Without a tight end lined up, you have spread wide receivers, but they have a sort of like an H-back concept, which McDevitt's utilizing, did it right there very well. The H-back goes in motion, and he sort of acts like a fullback / tight end to get another blocker at the point of attack, and that's number 42 for the Crusaders, Jack Dawson. That name should ring a bell.
1st and 10 from the 29 for the Crusaders. Second pass of the game for them, and a completion inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line. And the catch made there by Howard Holton Jr., the sophomore.
Thing you saw there was the rhythm throw, and this quarterback's doing a heck of a job early for the Crusaders. put the ball on the money. He's getting the shotgun snap. He delivered the first pass that went for the touchdown that got called back. On rhythm, throwing the ball on rhythm. Brooklyn Nace from Central York last night in their win over Manheim Township threw a lot of short passes right on rhythm. It makes it very difficult for the defensive backs, and it gives the receiver time to catch the ball and get upfield.
Inside the Bathfitter red zone are the Crusaders. Handoff stretching the play on the outside is LaRue Jr., and he is stopped at the 15-yard line.
There's Jack Dawson lead blocking again from that fullback / H-back position. You'll see it on the replay to the right of your screen. And that is Dave Dawson's son. Dave Dawson, a fabulous running back, played at the University of Buffalo for the Crusaders back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Very impressive by the Crusaders, matching the Cougars touchdown. They matched the first touchdown, and now they're just 15 yards away from matching Harrisburg's second touchdown. 2nd and 7. Handoff back in the game is Jones Davis, and gets a yard, and that's it. Maybe just gets back to the line of scrimmage. Harrisburg up 16-7 here in the second quarter.
Harrisburg defense came up big there on that tackle to force a 3rd and long. In the red zone here, the Crusaders are knocking at the door on the right hash, 15-yard line.
One thing that Coach Wechter said about Sebastian Williams, he said the offense this year is going to look a lot like Stone Saunders, the offense that he ran his freshman year.
Gotcha.
He has to dial back a lot of the things that Stone was able to do. Stone, a 4-year starter, of course, led as a state leader in passing yards and passing touchdowns in his 4-year career at Bishop McDevitt. There's a pass and a completion. Well thrown ball and good route, but they
got it.
Yeah, got the catch right
First
inside
down.
the 10-yard line, and that'll be good enough for a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down. Pretty nice pass by the junior quarterback.
Yep, hit Holton there. Very good route. Ball in the money. We talk about throwing on rhythm. That means just the timing. You can't wait and throw those hitches or deep hitches. If the quarterback waits too long, that D-back can make a break, and nobody's better than the Harrisburg Cougars over the last decade of having zone eyes and picking off passes.
Holton had 2 catches last week for 13 yards. He already has 2 catches today. Last season as a freshman, he had 15 catches and 2 touchdowns. They're excited about the sophomore. A little play action, throwing in the end zone, and a penalty marker comes down as there'll be pass interference in the end zone as they were trying to get the ball back to Holton Jr.
It's going to be half the distance. I'm actually surprised that McDevitt went with that play on 1st and goal, putting the ball in the air in that slant, but it was definitely open.
That looked like a play that Stone Saunders would throw.
Without a doubt. This quarterback, we talked about last year, the Harrisburg quarterback in the second half was growing up and maturing and getting more experience right in front of our eyes. Everybody saw it. Well, we're seeing the same exact thing on the other side with the Crusaders this year, and their quarterback doing a very solid job. He has a really good feel for the game. I'm impressed so far.
1st and goal from the 3. The Crusaders trying to match the Harrisburg touchdown. Harrisburg's touched the ball twice, 2 offensive series, and scored both times. The Crusaders trying to match that. Handoff on the inside, getting shy of the goal line, down to about the 1.5-yard line.
What we also saw there, Williams, a trait in a quarterback that is overlooked often. He faked after he handed the ball off. He acted like he had the ball and kept it around the end. And when you keep doing that as a quarterback, eventually the defense is going to somewhat ignore you. And then all of a sudden you pull it, and you're going to have yourself most likely a big gain. Faking is a part of all offensive players, running backs and quarterbacks especially.
Jones Davis got that last run. 2nd and goal from the 2 for the Crusaders.
They went to the fullback here to the right side last time.
Barnes gets it, and Barnes is in for the 2nd touchdown of the game for Barnes. And there you have the Faulkner Honda touchdown. Barnes from 2 yards out.
Defenses are struggling so far in this game, and if you're at home saying, why can these defenses not stop the offense? Well, both offenses are very multiple. Both offenses are forcing the defense to defend not only the length of the field, but the width of the field. And the quarterbacks are able to throw on rhythm on the outside. The running backs have done a great job. The lines have opened up, and it is tough for 11 defenders to stop this type of new wave offense that we've seen for the last decade and a half in high school football.
Gorilla in for the extra point for Bishop McDevitt after the Barnes touchdown. Knocks it through. It's back and forth. It's a slugfest is what we expected when it's the Battle of the Burg. Barnes in from 2. He has 2 touchdowns this afternoon for McDevitt. Phil Shaner alongside former head coach at both Harrisburg High and Bishop McDevitt for Chapman. Good one here this afternoon. Back and forth, back and forth. Harrisburg up 16-14. McDevitt has answered each shot that Harrisburg has thrown at them. So both teams had 2 offensive series. Both teams have gotten into the end zone for touchdowns. Time for another Good Feet Store kickoff as the Crusaders kick it back to the Cougars. Ball taken from the 11-yard line on the return. Down to the 26-yard line, driven out of bounds, and a penalty marker. Late hit by the Crusaders. They ran him out of bounds right on the Harrisburg sideline. So
it wasn't really that bad, Phil, but you've got to know where you are when you are a tackler. Yes.
You see that white, you got to let up.
You got to let up. You got to be aware. And there was not a lot of awareness there. Now the officials are talking it over. I think they're going to call the 15. Nothing. There was no malicious intent there. Just a gang tackle.
Personal foul. Late hit. 4-0 on the off kicking routine.
I thought they may have waved it off, but no.
Let's take a look at the scoring summary sponsored by Bella Concepts Remodeling, turning vision into reality. Barnes' second rushing touchdown of the afternoon, a 2-yarder, just like his first one. It was an 11-play, 59-yard drive for Bishop McDevitt. There is your Bella Concepts Remodeling scoring summary. So the 15-yard penalty will have the Cougars with the football now. Their 40-yard line after the 15-yard penalty.
If you look out there, Kevin Brown is lined up as a tight end to the right. He cannot catch a forward pass, though, because he is ineligible in high school and college. If you were wearing 50 through 79, you could not catch a forward pass.
Give is to Dent. He spins for 2.5 yards.
Unlike the pros, Kevin Brown in this case could check in with the official. You'll see it in the NFL, and they'll say, I'm eligible, and they'll say number 74 is eligible to play. You can't do that in high school and college. You cannot wear, as I repeat, 50 through 79 and be able to catch a forward pass. The only time you can is if the ball is tipped by the defense.
So purely just a gimmick if you're lined up there if you can't catch
tight
a
end's
pass.
back this time. Tight end's back this time. Brown is at right tackle.
2nd and 8 from the 42 for the Cougars. Shank fires incomplete. No one was there. You could hear that from the sideline. Shank, the junior, 11 of 20 last week, 142 yards. Last season, he only threw 20 balls as well for 151 yards. If you remember, the quarterback a year ago for Harrisburg was Lewis, who we saw grow up in that second week at Rocco Ortenzio Stadium, leaving his team back and winning the game in overtime in this battle for the Burg. Now, Lewis, you'll see him catch the football. Also, one thing that Lewis did last week, he had 3 interceptions in the Emotep Charter game.
Wow.
3 picks in one game last week for a very special player. And Lewis has 1 catch here in that first drive. If you remember, the biggest pass play of the game for the Cougars was the Shank to Lewis pass play. 3rd and 8 for the 42. Shank to pass this time, has pressure, but has no pressure and is able to get it off. The catch is made, but immediately falling down was Dent coming out of the backfield.
On that first play, that quarterback threw it away there, play before this, Titus Brown, the freshman tight end, I think he missed the call. I think he was supposed to run some type of seam or out route, and he stayed in and blocked. That's why the ball just was thrown away intentionally.
Penalty marker is down at the 46.
Holding. Number 21 on white.
And holding on the defense.
Yeah, that was away from the play. I saw the flag come in late.
Coach
from
Wechter,
from the back.
Look at Coach Wechter's reaction.
He's hot.
He does not like that call.
Let's see if we can get this replay, and we'll be able to check on the call. If we can see it was away from the ball slightly. Look to the right of your screen. Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't that bad. He was making contact. The ball, they called holding. Coke against Coke. I don't know about that.
Jeff Wechter is 28 season, 275 and 71, chasing 300 wins. He has 289, 275 wins at McDevitt. He had 14 wins at his first head coaching job. Where?
Lebanon Catholic.
Lebanon Catholic.
Now, what happened there, if that would have been called defensive pass interference, because when the ball was slightly in the air, the defender was still making contact. That was called holding, meaning there was contact, grabbing or whatnot before the ball was in the air.
Another penalty marker goes down. There wasn't that many penalties in the first quarter, but now penalties piling up here at the 5:29 mark.
On the offense, number 74.
And I'll guarantee you, the McDevitt defensive staff talked to the defense about when you can get your hands on Coke, and you know, this is not the pros where you can't touch them when they're more than 5 yards down the field. If the ball's not in the air, you can jam people, and you want to do that as much as you can and take Coke off his routes.
Coke is so dangerous. Last week, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, a 60-yarder and a 14-yarder, had 114 yards receiving. He has the most career receiving yards in the history of Harrisburg High School, and the most touchdowns for a receiver as well. Straight up the middle, right at midfield, across midfield to the 49-yard line on that relatively safe running play.
Looks like McDevitt was playing a 3-deep zone there, and which means for the deep ball, Coke is just one-on-one. In this case, he's going to be Crummel, the senior defensive back.
There you see the reaction from Dent. Like, what's happening? 270 combined yards between these two offenses who have put on a show here the first quarter and a half.
Empty set here.
2nd and 13 from the 49. Shank to pass. Looking for Coke and incomplete. Threw it out of bounds.
Coke ran about a 10-yard curl deep on the outside, and the ball was just off the mark. It was a long throw because the ball's over on the left hash, and Coach, even outside the numbers on that route, takes a strong arm, and unfortunately Shank was a little bit off on the attempt.
So now a 3rd and 13 from the 49-yard line. A little pressure here on the junior quarterback Shank, as they need some serious yards here to keep the drive alive. Shank,
screen pass, he's gonna
sets up the screen and incomplete. Had to throw it behind him, was looking for Dent, and that play just didn't work for the Cougars.
Believe it or not, that was very close to a penalty because that screen pass was almost thrown in front of the line of scrimmage. It was very close, and there were linemen downfield, but the ball has to be caught behind the line of scrimmage. Let's see right here.
Line of scrimmage is the 49.
Let's see it right here. No, it's right on the 49. It's okay.
Yep. So now a 4th down. This could be the first time we see a punt.
And by the way, if the ball's attempted to be caught behind the line of scrimmage, as a defender, you can make contact with the receiver, and it's not pass interference.
Harrisburg only punted 1 time last week against Emotep. There was only 3 punts in that entire game. Harrisburg's big win at the Rose Bowl in York.
Does Harrisburg have a receiver out to the top of the screen? It's tough to count. I mean, if that's a tight end or just a tackle.
Sophomore Arp will punt the football for the Cougars on a 4th and 13 from the Crusaders' 49-yard line.
Yeah, it's a double tight. It's a double tight set. Got it off.
Palmer back to receive the punt, but it was short, and it'll bounce down and be touched at the 22-yard line. The school bus stop of the game during the 4th quarter of this afternoon's game will highlight the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. This announcement paid by NHTSA, and we'll have the NHTSA school bus stop of the game coming up in the 4th quarter. So the first drive that did not end in a touchdown so far in this game for the Crusaders defense was able to hold the Cougars in the first punt of the game that we saw.
Yep, good point. The McDevitt defense said, hey, we're the first team that's going to stop somebody. Now let's see if Harrisburg can do the same thing on the other side. But this running game for McDevitt is really tough.
Jones Davis has 11 yards and a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down run for Davis, who really has been tough on the ground for this McDevitt offense.
Yes, very impressive, this running game. And Harrisburg is giving up large chunks. And fortunately for this McDevitt offense, they don't need to rely on their quarterback to go to the air very much here early because their running game is taking over.
There's a look at Jones Davis.
I like this set they're in here. It's a tight end trip set with a lone receiver opposite the trips.
Last season, Jones Davis over 1,600 yards rushing, had 8 100-yard games a year ago, and has another carry and has another 3.5 yards, 4 yards on that run by Jones Davis.
Even though that's a 3-yard gain on first down, and that's one of the least amount of yardage they've had running the football, it still puts you in a 2nd and 7 and keeps you ahead of the chains. You just don't want to go with a no loss if you're McDevitt.
How about last week against Clarks North? 24 carries for just 55 yards. The entire team rushing the football for McDevitt. They couldn't run the ball against the pretty big team from Canada last week. They're finding their running way this time. Jones Davis spins and gets a yard just shy of the 40 and 39-yard line is where he was stopped.
Nice job defensively the last 2 plays by the Cougars to bring up a 3rd and 6. You know, the other thing you got to remember, we talked about it last week, as you see the replay here and the good defense by the black-on-black Cougars. You got one scrimmage nowadays. Remember we talked about it last week?
Yep.
And a team has to be ready for their first game a week ahead of that second contest. So in a lot of cases, this would be a team's first game, and they've had 2 other contests, but now it's their second game. So a lot of teams grow up and get better and learn a lot after that first game.
3rd and 6. Williams, the throw, has the completion. The ball is dropped by the receiver, Palmer.
That was a killer for McDevitt because they had the first down. Once the ball was dropped, it now brings up a 4th and 2.
So Palmer had the catch, then dropped it.
And Coach Wechter has a decision here. One would think he's going to punt, but you could line up and just go with a long cadence and see if Harrisburg jumps, and then maybe call a timeout and punt.
Palmer had 1 catch last week for 8 yards. Has the catch there. If he would have went down right where he caught it, you're right, he would have had the first down. So now the decision
I don't think they're
on this
snapping it. I don't think they're snapping it. Sorry to interrupt you. I don't think they're snapping it.
4th and 3. Williams, the junior, trying to draw Harrisburg off sides.
Yeah, that formation, they're not going to snap the
here's the
football.
timeout. We'll come back with the 4th down coming up for Bishop McDevitt when we get back. The Cougars lead at 16-14. Fourth and 2 for Bishop McDevitt from their own 43-yard line. They'll punt for the first time today. Rilla gets the boot off, so now both teams have punted 1 time in this game that started with both teams on their 2 offensive series driving down the field and scoring touchdowns. So both teams stall out with punts. And this afternoon's Friday Night Rivals Saturday Special live stream is sponsored by Care Property Services, the only call you need. Don't forget the CBS 21 halftime report is coming up. Highlights and stats from the first half. Also, the best high school football highlights from around the country. It's all coming up on the CBS 21 halftime report.
Both defenses coming up big there to finally put a stop to this high-powered offensive performance. And we're left with just over a minute to go. You would not expect Harrisburg to get too risky here because a turnover could give up potentially at least a field goal, but don't be surprised if they go for a home run and just have Koch fly down the field and let it fly in the air. Try to get a big play.
Koch, one of the most dangerous receivers in the state. They look for Koch. Koch reaches up high and brings it down. What a catch by Koch. That'll be a 12-yard pickup and a 1-800 first down.
Austin Mack, the sophomore outside linebacker for the Crusaders, flew to the flat there and undercovered that, and still the ball was put on the money. When you have a tall, lanky target like Koch is, the quarterback had a much better opportunity to get that ball up and he'd go up and catch it, but not bad defense at all. Playing underneath and above Koch, but you have a pass and a catch like that, it's very, very difficult to defend. A few of those and you're getting yourself past midfield.
Koch 6'3", Rutgers commit. 1st and 10 from the 35 after the Koch catch.
Seam, there it is.
Shank goes downfield looking for a man and incomplete. Was firing for Johnson.
When you have a 3-deep secondary, Phil, down that hash mark, the seam area, the inside, the slot receiver, there's a gap in there that's very difficult to defend in that zone, and the play was wide open. It's not easy to thread the needle there and throw that on the money there, but it was open.
It wasn't 3, it was 8. Lewis Dillard was the intended target.
Now they're in a trips open set.
2nd and 10 for the Cougars. 1:06 to go before the half.
4-man rush.
Shank to pass, steps up in the pocket, fires a midfield, has a catch into Crusaders territory, and that is a first down. Nice pass and catch there as Walker comes up with the catch.
Maurice Barnes was right there. Almost picked it, or at least batted it down. Very good coverage, but a heck of a throw. Right on target.
Great pass, Shank
To Walker.
to Walker on the completion. Walker 2 catches, 13 yards a week ago. Here's pressure, and Shank just throws the ball away as he was pressured.
Doesn't need to be a receiver there. As of last year, this is the 2nd year of the rule for high school. They've matched the college and pro rule where the quarterback, if he's out of the tackle box, and as long as he throws the ball past the line of scrimmage, as you'll see here.
42 seconds to go before the half. 2nd and 10. Cougars on the Crusaders' 48-yard line with a 16-14 lead.
Trips open again, meaning 3 receivers.
Coke at that bottom of your screen, the most dangerous receiver that Harrisburg has. They got him the ball once already on this drive, might go back to him again. Inside, big hit at the 45-yard line, but bouncing off the hit and staying on his feet. What a job there by Dillard, number 8.
Was it a helmet-to-helmet they called here? It would have to be. There's nothing else it could be. Once the ball was caught, the McDevitt defender came up and made a really nice hit. Years ago, there had been no comment on that, but they're talking it over now as you see all 5 officials.
10-yard pass play pickup, but we'll have to wait for the penalty as he got smacked at the 45-yard line. Did Lewis Dillard.
That's going to be add 15 on if they continue with this penalty, which it looks like they're going to.
Personal foul. Helmet contact. Right.
So you're right for helmet-to-helmet contact. Here's a look on the replay.
Yeah, you got to call that. I hate to see it because it's just good, hard-nosed football. Years ago, there was nothing wrong with that. But when you lead with the helmet and hit the other player's helmet, and he was standing straight up, too, it's not like the offensive guy I don't like it when you see it and the offensive guy lowers his point of contact. It's very difficult for the defender, but that was not. You just got to lower your contact point if you're the defender there.
So after the 10-yard catch and the penalty, a 1st and 10 from the 23 after the Dillard catch.
Empty set.
33 seconds to go before the half. Shank will keep it himself, and he's tackled inside the 15-yard line down to the 14 as they are in the Bath Fitter red zone.
Timeout by the Cougars. Their 2nd.
Cougars take a timeout. Just shy of a first down, so a 2nd and short coming up for the Cougars with 24 seconds to go before the half. And coming up next week, we'll be back on Friday night. Manheim Central is where we'll be. It'll be Manheim Central out of the Lancaster Lebanon League, hosting out of the York Adams League, the Dallastown Wildcats. Last night, Manheim Central lost to Ephrata 17-6, and Dallastown a 25-7 winner over Penn Manor. That is our Friday Night Rivals matchup. And CBS 21 coming up later this afternoon. Nevada and Penn State. 3:30 kickoff from Happy Valley. Nittany Lions. This be the year they could beat Ohio State. You need an umbrella with so much sun here at Servants
There it is.
Field in Harrisburg. Just outside of the back half of the high school sits the football stadium. Pretty neat look.
The home side was once the visitor side and vice versa. Home side used to be over right there by the school, as you see in the background. And huge renovation done prior to the 2003 season when Coach John, the former John Harris coach, came back here to coach the Cougars after a great college and pro run.
I'm driving in here, a couple blocks down from here, I drove by the old Bishop McDevitt.
How about it?
Just a couple of blocks away before McDevitt moved.
Empty set again from the 15-yard line.
2nd and 1. They need 1 yard for a first down.
McDevitt going straight man, bringing pressure. Now that's a first down. What the Cougars have to do with only 18 seconds, they got to get up and spike the ball. They're going to call a timeout right away, which I don't blame them.
So Lewis was the quarterback in there who runs for the first down, and that'll be a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down inside the Bath Fitter red zone.
I think that's the Cougars' last timeout, which means right now this is strategy, very important. We had the same thing last night. The game I went to was Manheim Township at Central York, and Manheim Township actually held Central York inside the 5 on 3 shots by Central to preserve a 21-14 halftime lead, although Central came back and won that game. Harrisburg, you don't have any timeouts left, which means anything in play, the clock is going to continue to run unless you're past the 2-yard line. Between the 2 and the goal line, it would be a first down. It will stop momentarily. So you got to put the ball in the air and to the sidelines or in the end zone, most likely. Anything else, unless you catch it and score, the clock is going to be running and you may not get another playoff. And the quarterback needs to be told that, which I'm sure he is, by Coach Everett and his staff. A team that has won 4 consecutive district titles at the top level, and this time it's 6A. And then look at McDevitt in a 4A and 5A bracket. Coach Wechter has brought home a lot of hardware and gold medals.
2 state titles in the last 3 years for Bishop McDevitt.
And a boatload of district titles.
18 of them. First and 10 from the 12, 18 seconds before the half.
Man with 2 safeties deep, it's tough to get the ball in there.
Ball's thrown by Shank and incomplete. As you see, he was looking for Dillard, who has his hands up. Dillard, I think, thought he was open or held, maybe.
What I like about this for McDevitt, you're rushing 4. You're playing man on all 5 receivers with 2 safeties over the top. And you're like, what would the negative be for that is a quarterback draw. However, if Harrisburg runs a quarterback draw and he gets tackled infield, the half's going to run out. So I really like that by McDevitt playing this. Now they're going to a different set here. Now they're going with a straight man with 1 free safety.
2nd and 10 from the 12. 13 seconds to go. Corner of the end zone. Touchdown. What a pretty throw and a great catch by Lewis. Lewis was the quarterback last year. Now he's a receiver and has his 2nd big catch of the game. This one, a touchdown. But wait, there's a penalty marker down at the 15-yard line.
That was after the play. It looks like a dead ball type deal.
12-yard touchdown pass. Shank to last year's quarterback, Lewis, for the 3rd touchdown of the first half for the mighty Cougars of Harrisburg.
I think the touchdown is going to be upheld. This is probably a dead ball after the play penalty.
Let's wait and see from our official.
The touchdown is good. After the play, we have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, 54 the offense.
And this causes a major problem because if you don't have a kicking game, you got to go for 2 from the 18-yard line.
So here's the pass from Shank, the touchdown. Great catch by Lewis. Just back it up. Had plenty of real estate in the back corner of that end zone for the 3rd touchdown for the Cougars.
For whatever reason, the McDevitt brass decided to only go with 1 free safety there, unlike 2 free safeties they had to play before. I'm not sure why, but it ended up being single coverage down. They went over. I know why they went with the 1 free safety way over to this side, because they went to Koch's side to try to do. Koch ran a skinny, cut it off on a post there on the right side, but
there's Lewis running onto the field. He had the touchdown, number 5. What an athlete he is. Last year, quarterback threw for over 1,200 passing yards, or 2,000 passing yards, and 19 touchdowns.
A legal substitution here. Now we're going to go back. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty. And now it's going to be a 2-point conversion from
the 22-yard line.
22-yard line.
So they already have 2 2-point conversions. Brown
Actually,
caught 1 and Dillard caught 1.
23.
Yeah, 2 previous touchdowns. So now the ball's sitting at the 23 for a 2-point conversion for Shank. You got to think maybe go back to number 5, Lewis again, or Koch. Looking and incomplete. So the 2-point conversion is no good.
Defenseman Tyler Reinhardt there, that free safety back there. You got to be careful you don't jump in too quickly. The ball was almost thrown over his out. It was thrown over his outreach hands, but a little bit past the receiver, and no good.
Well, they were looking for number 8, Dillard. Reinhardt, last year he had 5 interceptions and 37 tackles for the McDevitt defense on the defensive stop on the 2-point conversion, but 3 touchdowns here in the first half for Harrisburg, and they lead it 22-14 with 9 seconds to go before the CBS 21 halftime report.
We have a guarantee right now on this next play. What do you think it is on this kickoff?
a guarantee.
Squib, yeah, it's a guaranteed 100% squib kick on the. They don't want a deep guy to get it here.
So how do you set up for the squib? 9 seconds. Good feet store kickoff. We'll see if it is the squib kick. That was a minor squib. Got it out to the 18-yard line, and on the return for Bishop McDevitt, chasing field and have some open field, cutting back, and then a nice open field tackle at the 38-yard line on the return. That's the final play of the first half. Time for both teams to hit the showers. Brought to you by West Shore Home. Coming up, the CBS 21 halftime report. Both teams hit the showers. Brought to you by West Shore Home. Entertaining first half, of course it is. It's the battle for the Burg. Harrisburg leads at 22-14 over Bishop McDevitt.
Those showers aren't going to be turned on yet, though.
No, not yet. They're going to save them for later, but they're going to hit the showers for halftime. We'll be back with the CBS 21 halftime report when we get back from our state's capital in Harrisburg.
This is the CBS 21 Friday Night Rivals halftime report.
Phil Shaner alongside the coach for Chapman. Chapman was the head coach of Bishop McDevitt's first state championship back in 1995. They've added 2 more last year in 2024 and in 2022. So 3 state championships for Bishop McDevitt. 18 district titles were at the half. Harrisburg 22, Bishop McDevitt 14 of this 38th edition of the Battle for the Burg. Let's take a look at our first half highlights. The offenses were on. Both teams scoring their first 2 offensive possessions. Harrisburg started first. Mickens with a 7-yard touchdown, his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. Then Barnes answered with a 2-yard touchdown run for the Crusaders. Dent, 14-yard touchdown run, and they went for 2 for the second time. Dillard with a nice 2-point conversion catch here to make it 16-7. But back come the Crusaders in their second offensive opportunity. Barnes with his 2nd touchdown of the day, 2-yard run, 11-play, 59-yard drive, and then Shank to Lewis for the touchdown from 12 yards out. Lewis really the X factor, averaging over 21 yards per catch and scoring the only receiving touchdown of the game. First half highlights, look like this. How about the passing difference? 23 passing yards for McDevitt, 102 from Harrisburg. On the stat board, for what stands out?
Well, that passing is a little bit misleading because McDevitt did have that long touchdown pass that got called back because of a holding on the outside. But I think the big thing that stands out here, no turnovers on either side of the field. And the team that can limit their turnovers, right now it's both of them, but if second half here, if you can cause a turnover defensively, that could be the difference. The other thing I see is the no kicking game for the extra points for the Cougars, which would have been very beneficial had they had a kicker to try after the penalty, and they were way back on that 2-point conversion that they missed to make it 22-14.
Second half coming up. Battle for the Burg. 22-14 is their score. The Cougars with the lead. We'll be starting the second half shortly. Our Good Feet store kickoff to start the second half. 22-14 score between Harrisburg and Bishop McDevitt. Week number 2 of the high school football season. Last week, we were Cumberland Valley and Manheim Township. Cumberland Valley last night did not score a touchdown in their loss last week, but last night they had 47 points they put on the board in a shutout win. And you were at the Manheim Township game last night that they lost to Central York.
Yeah, and Central York was able to put 36, I believe it was, on Manheim, and yet Cumberland Valley has an offense very similar to Central York. Now, they don't have a veteran quarterback like a Brooklyn, an athletic kid like that, but Cumberland Valley has some weapons, no doubt about it, on the perimeter.
The Good Feet store kickoff in the second half is underway here in Harrisburg. Bishop McDevitt on the return, and a good return across the 30 to the 35-yard line and all the way up to the 40-yard line. Great return of 20 yards for Bishop McDevitt. Good way to start the second half on that quality return.
When you can start your possessions from the 40-yard line and out, it's very advantageous for a team, especially for a team that has a really good kicker that can kick field goals even at the 45 to 50-yard range.
So Bishop McDevitt will have it first. Williams in his second varsity start, 3 of 4, 23 yards in the first half. Holton Jr., 2 catches, 19 yards. Palmer has a catch for 4. Jones Davis, 12 rushes for 67 yards. Barnes, 5 rushes for 19 yards and 2 touchdowns. LaRue, 2 carries for 17 yards. And the handoff goes to Jones Davis, who led the team in rushing with those 12 carries for 67 yards. And he gets the first carry and loses a yard, so a 2nd and 11 coming up for the Crusaders.
The exact opposite from what we saw throughout the majority of the first half. The Harrisburg defense, both teams obviously going to make adjustments in the locker room at halftime, and defensively, the Cougars are sitting in a 4-man front, 4 linebackers, and 3 deep secondary. Play a lot of zone the last decade, the Cougars do, and they love to ball hawk from that secondary.
2nd and 11 for the Crusaders. To the 39-yard line. Williams to throw it and has the completion up to midfield. Nice pass play there, and the completion caught by Gage Ruth, the senior, who had a catch last week, has his first catch of the game here, and that's almost a first down, 3rd and short coming up.
2 receivers ran routes on the outside of the left there, and they released the running back to that side. So 3 receivers to the left of the quarterback. Made a great read through to the outside receiver on a curl route to bring up a 3rd and short, and now they're in a double tight flanker set. Obviously, we're going to see the fullback or the tailback run the ball here. 13
first downs for the Crusaders in the first half, and make it now 14 on the game. Jones Davis has the first down as he picks up 6 yards into Cougars territory, and that moves the sticks. And that's a kitchen saver first down run for Jones Davis.
Jones Davis looks like he may be slightly cramping up there. Not as bad as the first one, but he's going to come off for at least the play.
Jones Davis now 14 carries and 74 yards on the game.
Officials timeout briefly here.
It's good that it's the 2nd consecutive year of this rivalry. You know, before last year, had to go back to 2017 the last time they played. The rivalry went away for a number of years, but now that Bishop McDevitt in the Commonwealth, the rivalry's back, and it should be played every year.
Yes.
1st and 10 for the 45. Here's the junior quarterback. Williams fires with a strong arm. The ball is picked off. Intercepted. Great defensive play coming up to make the interception is Walker.
Trace Walker.
Walker had 4 interceptions a year ago, his first of the season.
The junior DB changes momentum in this football game. A defensive stop by the Cougars.
It just hung a little too much, right?
Yes, it did.
And he had him for a while. The ball hung in the air a little bit, and Walker came over to make the interception. This was a Harrisburg team that last year had 19 interceptions. How about last week? Just one player, Lewis, who's been great on offense. He had 3 interceptions last week against Emotep Charter. So the 4th interception of the young season for this Harrisburg defense.
One of the greatest statistics I've ever heard in high school football defensively. The year Harrisburg went to the state title and lost to St. Joe's Prep at Hershey Stadium after upsetting a Coatesville team in the state semifinals at Hershey. They had 14 pick sixes. 14 times in one season, a high school defense intercepted a pass and ran it back for a touchdown.
That is unbelievable stat. So after the turnover, the Cougars keep it on the ground and a gain of a couple of yards. Now remember what we were saying. We wanted to see if number 2, Messiah Mickens, was going to come back in. Word is that he is injured and is going to not play in the second half.
Wow.
So that would be a big loss for Harrisburg. So Dent then would become the lead back.
By the way, that Harrisburg team several years ago had a pick 6 in the first quarter against the eventual state champ St. Joe's Prep. Yeah, and that's the advantage of playing zone with some quick players.
How many pick 6s again in the season?
14.
Oh, wow. So 2nd and 8 for the Cougars. The pass by Shank dropped. An incomplete third down coming up. So we got to look, scour the field for number 2. Is he on the sideline? Where is he at?
I just scoured the sidelines and the bench. I did not see him.
Messiah Mickens, who scored 4 touchdowns last week in their win over Emotep Charter. Last season was incredible. He had 7 100-yard games, 21 touchdowns rushing, had 2 receiving touchdowns, a Penn State commit.
No, he's not in uniform on the sidelines.
So that is a major story for Harrisburg here, leading the game 22-14. Messiah Mickens cannot play both on defense and offense. Shank goes down the field and overthrows his intended receiver by about 6 or 7 yards. He was looking for Walker, number 15.
Now on that set, they put Koch to the 3 receiver side. He was the split into 3, and that was the guy on your screen right there. He was the only runner, receiver, excuse me, Walker to the other side, and they went one-on-one out there and let it fly.
We only saw 2 punts in the first half, and here we have a punt here for Harrisburg's first opportunity on offense after the interception thrown by Bishop McDevitt. So the Cougars not able to take advantage of the Crusaders' turnover.
Play clock down to 4.
Arp will punt the football from his own 2-yard line. Here comes some pressure. He gets it up. Not a bad kick. Ball is misplayed and muffed at the 45-yard line, but on the return, this is dangerous with some speed heading down the sideline.
What a return.
Goes Palmer, and Palmer, a dangerous return man, and what a return for Palmer. How about that? He misplayed the punt, but it set him up, and he headed down the Bishop McDevitt sidelines. Here's another look.
The first guy down there tried to make a big hit instead of breaking down because he saw the ball was on the ground. And heads up play there by the return man to get that ball and get upfield. Here's Palmer, senior.
Look at that. There is Mickens in street clothes. That is a huge, huge storyline for Harrisburg. Mickens out of uniform, in street clothes, just walking to the sideline now. Crusaders, great starting position after Palmer's punt return has them with a 1st and 10 from the Harrisburg 27.
Now he seems to be walking without a limp or anything. I'm just trying to speculate here. That's a good sign that it doesn't appear to be lower body, related, a knee, an ankle, whatever. So maybe it's a potential got hit. Maybe the doctors got hit in the head or something like that. Maybe some type of concussion, not sure.
But what we know for this game is he's out of this game here in the second half with his team up 22-14. LaRue with that last carry got back to the line of scrimmage. So 2nd and 10 from the 27 for Bishop McDevitt. Straight ahead run right up the middle. Tough run inside the 20-yard line. Down to the 19. Good run by Barnes. I like the 1-2 combo. They've been running the 1-2 combo for the last couple of years with Jones, Davis, and Barnes. And Coach Wechter said, there was a bunch of times last year, by accident, both of them had the exact same number of carries. Now, of course, as the run went into the playoffs and winning the state title, Jones, Davis really got hot in the postseason and got more of the carries. But during the regular season, there was a lot of times they said it was accidental. They would just look at the number of carries that Barnes and Jones Davis would have, and they'd be very similar. So a 3rd and 2 after the 8-yard run by Barnes. There's a timeout on the field. Coach Jeff Wechter calls the timeout with 7:07 to go. We'll step aside. A big 3rd and 2 coming up for the Crusaders. They're in Cougars territory when we get back. Messiah Mickens, just a spectator now here in the second half in street clothes for Harrisburg. One of their top defensive players and offensive players on the sideline. Bishop McDevitt, 3rd and 2 from the 19-yard line in Harrisburg territory. Little trick play inside. Pitch goes to Zach Brown, who returned from injury. Zach Brown was injured in the first half. He's back, and they go inside to him.
Yeah, I'd like to see that play again. It was interesting. They brought Brown. Here, we'll see it. They're bringing Brown from the right side. Yes, little flip off of an initial fake run to the right. Back in the day, they'd call that a cross buck when you'd hand it off to the second. One guy would go one way, guy the other way, split backs. A version of the cross buck, but New Millennium version of it. I really like the play.
Kitchen saver first down. Crusaders inside the Batfitter red zone. 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Looking to score the first punch of the second half. Williams, the junior quarterback, fires, has the completion, reaching for the goal line, but just coming up short. But the Crusaders will have the ball down at the inch line. Nice job there by Ruth, extending himself, trying to reach for the end zone. But
that's a curl route.
Crusaders are all set up.
Outside receiver runs down the field, plants, comes back against a 4-man front with 4 linebackers and 3 deep secondary. That's a void area. It's very difficult for an inside linebacker to undercut and get back to that curl. And the corner there has to break up on the ball, but not in time, and McDevitt's knocking on the door.
Ruth's second catch of the game. 1st and goal from the 1. Handoff goes to Mr. Touchdown. Barnes looking for his 3rd, but he is tackled in the backfield for a loss. Good job by the defense there, and that was Barrow, the linebacker, was able to get Barnes before he could reach the end zone.
Jones Davis back in the game. They're going to put him at tailback most likely put Barnes at fullback, and don't be surprised if we see the little handoff to Barnes like they had the first 2 touchdowns, a little fullback dive right there off the guard. That's what I'm expecting here under center.
Baroa made that stop. That was a big one.
Take it back. They're going to switch. They got 5 at fullback, 7 at tailback. They're probably going to go to 5.
2nd and goal.
Oh, miss handoff.
Miscommunication there. The handoff was not handled well, but it didn't matter. Sebastian Williams is able to take care of the box play, and the quarterback finds his way in the end zone for the touchdown for Bishop McDevitt.
There really was not so much of miscommunication as the exact spot for the handoff. Watch it here.
Snap came early, right?
Quarterback comes off, and he runs into the fullback. The fullback,
gotcha.
It's the angle, because usually number 7's doing that, and didn't go quite wide enough, but the quarterback had the wherewithal, Williams, to grab that ball and not lose it and just head upfield.
So Williams with the rushing touchdown, his first rushing touchdown of the season in his 2nd career start as the varsity quarterback.
Now, here we are in the 3rd quarter. They're going to like to take the 1.
Will on for the extra point. The kick is up, and the kick is good.
Even though they were down by 2, not a bad decision. It's early in the game.
So the Cougars lead it by 1 after the Bishop McDevitt touchdown. It's 22-21, the battle for the Burg, fighting it out in Harrisburg in the 3rd quarter. Special Saturday edition of WellSpan Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals. Battle for the Burg, 1-point game. Bishop McDevitt drove down the field. Williams scored from 1 yard out, and it's 22-21. Time for another Good Feet Store kickoff. Crusaders will kick it to the Cougars. Harrisburg has won the last 2 games in this series, the 38th edition between these 2 teams. Last year was a thriller at Rocco Hortensio Stadium. Remember, Bishop McDevitt had the lead. Harrisburg came back, went to overtime, and the Cougars won it at McDevitt.
Regarding Mickens, I was told that it's potentially a knee issue, and even though he's walking okay, apparently came off gingerly in the first half with a knee, so they probably don't want to take any chances, and most likely, I would imagine, have to get an MRI.
Scoring summary is sponsored by Bella Concepts Remodeling, turning vision into reality. Bishop McDevitt looked like it was botch play, but Williams ended up getting into the end zone. The quarterback, a 1 yard touchdown run for them. That was nice. With McDevitt, the first touchdown of the second half on the board.
Obviously, all that speculation. We don't know for sure. So, the bottom line is Mickens is not going to be back in uniform for this football game. Wish him the best. Who is back is Zach Brown for Bishop McDevitt after being hit by Kevin Brown on the one of the first plays, first drive of the game.
1st and 10 for the Cougars from the 20. So now we're going to see a lot of Princeton Dent, the 5'11", 200-pound junior with Mickens out.
Flag late right at the end of that play.
A lot of flags coming down now after Dent's run.
two different spots. There are two different flags. One's down here, might be a face mask because we came in real late, but there's another flag way up at the top of the screen.
Officials will talk things over. Bishop McDevitt opened the season last week, playing a team from Canada, took the loss. Harrisburg beat Emotep Charter. Of course, Bishop McDevitt, the defending Class 5A state champion.
Face mask on the offense. Personal foul, number 14 on the defense. That is a dead ball foul. We're going to walk the 5 and then to do the 15.
You got to keep your composure. The unsportsmanlike penalties can really come back to haunt the football team. So they got the first. It's going to be, I assume, 1st and 10.
Well, penalties have been a problem for Bishop McDevitt over the years for Coach Wechter. Last week, Harrisburg, despite their win, they had 15 penalties. Talking to Coach Everett this week, he said that was an area we really need to clean up. They had 15 penalties, a couple of turnovers last week against Emotep Charter. Despite their win, that was, there's always positives with negatives. And I think you said it earlier, there's always the biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2.
No doubt.
When it comes to high school football. 1st and 10 from the 23, and they go straight ahead. So now with Mickens out, the number 1 option is number 0, Princeton Dent.
Oh, Dent, excuse me, yeah. And Princeton Dent picked up a nice gain there to make it 2nd and short. Which team can come up defensively and potentially get a turnover? That could be a big one. Or at least get a stop and force some punts, because we're already down to 4 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. But as I mentioned, we're early enough in the game that you don't necessarily have to go for 2. And Coach Wechter decided to get it within a point, 22-21, anticipating there will be more scores potentially on both sides of the field.
Dent picked up 8 yards, 2nd and 2 from the 31 for Harrisburg. And they'll keep it on the ground, going forward, trying to get that first down. They get it right to the yard to gain line. It depends on the spot. They're going to give them the first down, so that'll be a kitchen saver. First down run by Dent. Now, the X factor, I think, for Harrisburg in the passing game was number 5, Lewis, because they're doing such a great job taking number 1, Koch, out of the game, that Lewis has had some opportunities. So watch in the passing game, maybe going to that number 5.
No doubt about it.
Koch had that one big catch, if you remember, an outstanding catch in that first half, but you know, he is so good. Last week, over 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
We're missing. Oh, okay, it's a loaded fullback there to the left for the Cougars.
1st and 10 from the 34. They're going to pass, looking for Koch downfield, and there he is. They go to him, and Koch has the big catch right at the 42-yard line, and that'll be a first down. Good play there, Shank to Koch.
You see why Shank's playing quarterback. That ball was put right on the money, down the sidelines, not much room. They have a guy underneath, a guy over the top. The guy over the top defender was a little bit late getting there, Reinhardt. It's not easy to get to the sideline like that. Not necessarily saying that's his fault.
17-yard pickup on the pass play. 1st and 10 as the Cougars find themselves in Crusader territory at the 42-yard line. Flags come out, though, before the play starts.
And we have offsides against McDevitt. The question is, was he drawn off by movement of the Cougars? And they're talking that over.
6 touchdowns in this game, and it's a 1-point game. Harrisburg with a 22-21
Dead
lead.
ball. Disconcerting act on the offense.
There it is. That's what I was concerned about, and I thought it might be that. What that means is, and you see it happen more and more, is if the offense gets a sudden movement and simulates a snap, they can call it on the offense even though the defense jumps off. And that's what they called right there.
We talked about that last week with the cadence and,
yes,
and coming up and trying to
exactly
do that. So 13 penalties now for 125 yards combined between these two teams after that call. Yeah, we just had that conversation last week.
Yes, we did.
At Manheim Township, talking about how you can use the cadence, things that you can kind of do to try to draw a team offside. So that was called there by the officials, that Harrisburg did something that drew the Crusaders off.
Tyler Reinhardt is lined up at safety over top of Koch to try to give a double coverage type look here.
Harrisburg will keep it on the ground and nowhere to go. It's tackle for the loss.
Here it is. We're going to look at that play offensively. See if anybody moves. Oh, yep, there you go. You're not allowed to jump up super quickly. That's what the rule is, as much as I don't like it. So you're simulating quick movement.
And they were all looking at the sideline like they were looking for a change of the play
if you
or
do
something
that
like
slower, it's fine. But if you all do it together, you're trying to entice, the referee is determining, it's his own judgment, that you're trying to entice the defense off sides.
2nd and 15 from the 47. 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter, a quick-moving third quarter. Bishop McDevitt, the only team to get a touchdown here in this second half. Quick pass, they get it to the outside to Lewis, and Lewis is tackled for a major loss in the backfield.
Unfortunately, it looks like he's hurt after he made the tackle.
Lewis, who has the touchdown. And one of the Crusaders is down.
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
right.
Lewis.
Patrick Wright.
Yeah, it's Patrick Wright who's down.
Based on the letter of the law, back to that illegal procedure, I agree with it. Based on the letter of the law, those guys all moved simultaneously, those linemen. Oh, it might be an ankle. It might be, it looks like a right ankle.
Patrick Wright transferred
got caught underneath him. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Transferred from Bishop McDevitt from the state of Minnesota. But that's not him. I think it might. Is that 24 or 21? We'll have to
21.
check the number.
That's Patrick Wright. Right. Yes, the senior.
Oh, Patrick Wright. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And hopefully he really got that twisted up trying to make that what a great defensive read, anticipation, and coming up and making that tackle. Outstanding job by Wright, but he got that rolled up on badly.
The school bus stop of the game during the fourth quarter of this afternoon's game. We'll highlight the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. This announcement paid for by NHTSA. So we'll have the school bus stop of the game coming up in the fourth quarter. Yeah, so Wright's an interesting story, transferred in from Minnesota, and Coach Wechter got a look at Wright, said, we're definitely going to use him defensively, but he said, hey, he's also a pretty good running back. Their running back room's kind of full with the 3 running backs they already have, but he said you might see a little bit of Patrick Wright on the offensive side running the football at some point this year for the Crusaders.
2 deep safeties here for the Crusaders on 3rd and way long. Empty set for the Cougars. They bring one back in the backfield.
It's a 3rd and 20 from the 48-yard line. They're going to keep it on the ground. Dent running, gets into Crusader territory, pushing the pile across the 45-yard line down to about the 42.5.
Let's see what Coach elects to do. Coach Calvin Everett here, former running back for the Cougars himself, back in the late 90s, and it's going to be 4th and a long 10. Is he going to punt out of shotgun, which I am anticipating based on who's, let's see here, are they going to go for it? I wouldn't be surprised to see him punt out a shotgun to get better field position here. Or are they going to try to, out of the empty set, try to throw it for 10 yards?
So 4th down.
He's punting. He's punting.
They're punting from the 49-yard line. Able to kick that ball, and it bounces backwards. So the Crusaders will have the football there. Down 1, 22-21. We search the field here in Harrisburg for the best mustaches in the battle for the Burg here at Servants Field. And of course, Mustache Cam is powered by Barber Styling Institute. A lot of mustaches, a lot of people here this afternoon. Up top, our camera crew has some mustaches. Mustache Cam powered by Barber Styling Institute. 1st and 10 now for the Crusaders. 1:02 to go, third quarter. Have the ball from the 19-yard line.
Let's see if McDevitt can establish that hardcore running game here.
LaRue Jr. with the handoff. Cuts back.
Usually when you try to bounce the ball against the Cougars, they run that down. And LaRue Jr. did a nice job of getting positive yardage.
Time to raise the roof. Brought to you by Able Sun Roofing and Siding. The Harrisburg High School band raising the roof as they do for years and years. And also the Harrisburg cheerleaders raising the roof. Able Sun Roofing and Siding. Before you sign, give them a call. So a 2-yard pickup by LaRue Jr. A 2nd and 8 from the 21.
Bubble.
Completion to Quick. Quick, remember, had the one catch that went to the house that was brought back with a penalty, but Quick has enough for the first down.
Things are getting very chippy out here on the perimeter with both teams.
That's a kitchen saver first down catch from Williams to Quick. Just 10 seconds to go here in the third quarter. They're going to let the quarter run out. We're heading to the fourth quarter, and guess what? It's a one-point game. Battle for the Burg. Coming down to the fourth quarter, maybe like last week or last year, we might need overtime. Harrisburg 22, Bishop McDevitt 21. We have reached the fourth quarter of the Battle for the Burg. ESPN Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals, a special Saturday afternoon edition. Bill Shaner alongside Ford Chapman, former head coach at both Harrisburg and Bishop McDevitt. Fourth quarter, 12 minutes to go. Bishop McDevitt down 1, 22-21. First and 10 for Bishop McDevitt.
There's what I'm talking about bouncing it. When you bounce it against a Harrisburg team, you're usually going to have, they're playing zone, they're going to usually fly to the football. Harrisburg always known for their speed on the perimeter.
That's LaRue Jr., the sophomore, who bounced to the outside.
Nice job, though, of eluding two defenders. What would they lose, about a yard there, Phil?
They lost the yard, 2nd and 11 after that LaRue run. So now there's words about Jones Davis and how healthy he is. We already told you about Mickens for Harrisburg, but number 5, the bell cow for McDevitt, also a little banged up. Here's Williams, the quarterback, and he is tackled.
I think we had a hold.
Yep, brought down as Williams got back to the line of scrimmage, but there's a marker down.
And they're probably going to, it's interesting here. Is Harrisburg going to say, let's make them go 3rd and 10 or 2nd and 20?
Well, the first quarter, the first half was all about offense. Here in the second half, it's
holding.
All been about
Number
defense.
75 of the offense. 10-yard penalty.
Calvin Everett didn't think twice. He said, we're going to make it 2nd and 20. Take the yardage. Make McDevitt have 2 plays to get 20 yards.
And the holding call was on one of those new tackles. Remember that McDevitt lost 2 of their tackles to graduation besides losing Stone Saunders.
Yeah, it looked like it was Mania. Was it Andre Mania, number 55? The sophomore?
Mania's the sophomore, and then you have the senior on the other side on the tackle. So the top 2 standout tackles both need to be replaced on this Coach Wechter offensive line. So after the penalty, now 2nd and 21 from the 22. Passing down for Williams, the junior quarterback, in his 2nd varsity start. Williams steps up in the pocket. There's a penalty marker down as a man wide open. And the catch into Cougars territory. Good strong throw, but we'll have to wait for the penalty.
Looks like it's coming back on another hold, but that would happen. The receiver all the way to the right. Holton, he made like a deep crossing route. And they're in zone, remember, so the defender on this side that was over top is not going to run with him. And he sort of got way behind the secondary that was over to that side, not even noticing that he was there. And then the quarterback bided enough time to get rid of the ball.
Holton with 2 catches for 19 yards. That would have been his biggest catch of the season. But it's going to come back with the penalty. So penalties are adding up here in the second half. That was one of our keys to the game for Bishop McDevitt, to avoid penalties. We already talked about Harrisburg having 15 penalties last week.
On the offense, we have holding, number 7. We have dead ball, sideline interference.
Oh,
on
my.
the offense.
So that's going to be a double half the distance. And what happened was, number 7 was the running back trying to help in the protection. If we can see this play again,
that was Barnes, number 7.
Yeah, he got the initial one, but then the sidelines, you got it in high school football, now all levels, you got to stay back off that white, and it's tough to do as a coaching staff. And as with your players, you got to keep everybody back. Those officials are so wide now because so many of the formations are so wide. Here we got it right here.
There's Barnes, number 7. ISO on him, yep.
Oh, he just ran the guy off and sort of got, we didn't see the very end of that.
Maybe on the backside.
Yeah, it didn't look that bad from what we saw.
But here's what this does. Now it's field position. I mean, Harrisburg's going to have great field position when they finally do get the football back. So a 2nd and really, really long from the 6-yard line for Bishop McDevitt. they got to be careful that they don't turn over the football. The junior Williams will keep it himself and get to the 10-yard line.
This punt is going to be big. Can McDevitt protect number one and then get a nice punt off to get the Cougars to not have great field position?
So circle those penalties, the 2 penalties that moved them all the way back to the 6 as far as field position is concerned, because you know, Harrisburg most likely going to have outstanding field position when they get the football back up 22-21.
Now let's think ahead. Let's say Harrisburg does get good field position and score a touchdown.
Right.
They're going to go for 2. If they make the 2, it puts them up 9. If they miss the 2, it puts them up 7. So that's going to be a huge situation, these conversions, knowing Harrisburg's not going to kick.
McDevitt, 7 penalties for
third down.
75 yards. Third down, Williams fires, has a man, throws it over his head. So now coming up with the punt. And the penalties have certainly been an issue on this drive for Bishop McDevitt, but they have 7 penalties for 75 yards total. Now let's talk a little bit about the injuries. Mickens, before the injury, 75 yards on 7 carries. Jones Davis for McDevitt, 72 yards on 14 carries. Together, that's 147 yards of 2 players not in the game right now for both these teams.
Harrisburg, not, let's see, I think they're sure that they got a guy they're running out right now. They have 11 now.
Gorilla will punt from his own end zone. The snap is good. Gorilla gets the punt off. Needs a good McDevitt roll here. This is key. Picked up from midfield on the return. And on the return is Dillard. Dillard's still on his feet, and he is down. So great field position at the 40-yard line. That's where Harrisburg will start offensively here with 8:59 to go.
Let me go over a little thing with special teams. Not that Harrisburg did the wrong thing here by any means, but you know McDevitt's going to punt because they were 4th and about 35, 40 yards. So if you know they're going to punt, sometimes it's more beneficial to get 2 guys back to return, to spread them out and get more coverage. Now, fortunately for Harrisburg, they were able to one-hop that punt and get a decent return to get great field position at the 40. McDevitt did a decent job covering as well.
This afternoon's game and the live stream is sponsored by Care Property Services, the only call you need.
Double tight set here for the Cougars, expecting to run it.
Dent gets the carry with Mickens out and gets a couple of yards.
McDevitt most likely anticipating the run out of the double tight trip set, 1 back formation, and puts Harrisburg in a 2nd and 10.
So no gain, maybe 1 yard. 2nd and 9 will give Dent 1 yard there. From the 39-yard line, Harrisburg.
He got the length of a football.
All that scoring in the first half, and now it's become a defensive game here with 2 star players who are on the sidelines.
Look at this unique formation. McDevitt's anticipated. Great job defensively. Great job.
Trying to be creative, but not the case. Tackle for a loss. Coming up is Logan. Logan, the senior, had 29 tackles last week, had a sack and 6 tackles a week ago. Big play for Logan.
Shot right through and disrupted it.
Yep, certainly did. So 3rd down, 3rd and 12 from the 43.
Missing your star running back, as we alluded to, out with a potential.
Well, now the playmakers throwing the ball are 5 Lewis and, of course, number 1 Koch. And watch out for 15 Walker, too. Those are the threats to catch the ball for the Cougars.
Move too far. The far wide receiver, that's 15. Left too early. That's Trace Walker, the junior. He's going to back him up 5.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
So now penalties hurt Harrisburg. We saw some penalties that hurt Bishop McDevitt the last time they had the football. Now here's some penalties moving them back. Harrisburg has struggled on 3rd downs. How about 2 of 6 on 3rd downs in the game?
Here's the key with McDevitt's defense. They did a great job here in these first 2 plays, stepping up after having to come on the field with the other team, the opponent having the ball at your own 40-yard line.
McDevitt's defense needed to respond, and they have. Help with a couple of tackles for a loss and also a penalty. 3rd down. Shank has time to throw. Rolls out to his right. Still has his eyes downfield. Penalty markers down. Looking for Koch. comes up with a one-handed catch down to the 18-yard line, but there's 2 penalties down. I think it's going to be holding again on Harrisburg.
In the spot of holding.
What a catch by Koch, but it's not going to count.
Now, Koch, is he down over there?
He is. He's down. He's slow to get up. There you see a look at Koch with the 2 red gloves. He's a Rutgers commit. Again, the leading receiver in Harrisburg history for yards and touchdowns as a receiver.
Holding. Number 33 of the offense. 10-yard penalty.
Both, and that's a running back. We had the same thing on the other side.
Yeah, that's Titus.
Well, it's tight end.
Titus Brown, the tight end.
He was lined up at tight end at that spot.
And he's a freshman out there playing for Harrisburg. The 5'11", 220-pound freshman tight end, Titus Brown, 33. So this has been interesting as far as the amount of penalties that, you know, hampered the Crusaders and now
it's a cramp.
hurting the Cougars.
Sorry to interrupt. It's a cramp on Koch. And look, you can see it right there on the screen. Thank goodness. Koch had a little bit of a leg ding in the district final last year in their huge Harrisburg blowout win over Wilson at Exeter High School for the district championship, their 4th consecutive. And this just being a cramp. Now,
coming up next week, we'll be back on Friday. Friday night rivals in Manheim Central. Lancaster Lebanon team against the York Adams team. It's Manheim Central and Dallastown. The Barons and the Wildcats. Next Friday, Wellspan Orthopedics Friday night rivals. Coming up on CBS 21 in about 15 minutes from Beaver Stadium. The Nittany Lions host Nevada on CBS 21 right after our game.
Now, interestingly, Harrisburg, barring a huge play on 3rd down, is going to have to punt back to McDevitt, and the field position looks like it's swung in McDevitt's favor. They're going to get the ball at a decent spot, and then they just need a field goal to win the game, and they have a fabulous kicker. They may have to march probably, we don't know where it's going to be, but guessing around 30 to 35 yard to get a decent field goal shot that could be the game winner.
Harrisburg, 10 penalties, 85 yards. Gorilla last year had a chance to win it in regulation and just missed. That was a 52-yarder, though. Of course, it doesn't matter because he had the game winner in the state championship game to win the 5A state title. 3rd down, swing pass out of the backfield. Get their athletes in space is the idea, but short of the 1st down, but still a nice play.
Calvin Everett, is he going to punt from regular formation, or is he going to punt out of shotgun? I doubt that he's going to go for the 4th and 12.
Yeah, that was Dent who caught the pass, who was about 2 yards short of the
original.
Why
do I keep thinking it's 4th down? I thought it's 4th. It says 3rd on the scoreboard. It's 4th on the sideline.
Yeah, it's 4th now.
Well, they got him to jump. They got him to jump. McDevitt, you got to be talking as a defense. They tried that before. You got to be talking, telling your guys, hey, go on ball movement. We talked about that last week. It happens. It happens anyway.
Ball. Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalties.
Now, don't be surprised if they go for it on 4th and 7.
Yep, so now it moves them up and make it a little closer. It was 4th and 12 until the offsides penalty and 5 yards marked up.
You got to have some veteran linebackers saying, guys, watch the ball. D-line, don't jump. Communication can be key on that defense, on offsides, but they're on defense in that instance.
4th and 7 from the 37, 6:05 to go here in the 4th quarter.
There's no right or wrong answer here. You could punt out a shotgun, or you can go for it and try to get the 1st down. They're going to call a timeout. They're going to let this clock run down and call a timeout with about 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go and talk this thing over.
Shank trying to draw him off sides again. He was successful one time, but the Crusaders not going to be fooled twice, and they call timeout. We'll step aside. 4th and 7 coming up for the Cougars when we come back. Harrisburg has the football on the Crusaders' 37-yard line. Watch for number 1, Koch. He lined up at the bottom of your screen. 4, you think they're going for it here, that they're not going to punt it.
Without a doubt. I think they're going to put the hands on the offense and saying, hey, we got to get 7 yards.
Of course, their top playmaker, Messiah Mickens, out on the sidelines in street clothes here in the 2nd half.
If they don't get it, McDevitt needs to get the ball about 30 yards, anywhere from about 28 to 35 yards to get themselves a really good shot with a field goal, because their kicker can as we found out last year, you alluded to earlier, can really let it fly.
So you got Lewis and Koch, the two receivers in the bottom of your screen. I imagine that's where they'd want to go with it. Looking for Koch, who has the catch and the first down to the 15-yard line. When you want a big play, you go to number one, Elias Koch, a 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down. That was huge.
Let's watch the replays coming off the far left on a crossing little in route. Went down about 15 to 20 and came across the middle, and the ball's put right on the money.
25-yard pickup, Shank to Koch, and a first down. And all of a sudden, Harrisburg with a 1-point lead. They are in the Bath Fitter red zone, the 15-yard line, threatening to score and add to their 1-point lead. They hand the ball off to Dent, up the middle, powers his way across the 10-yard line, and gets down to about the 7.
Really nice run there. Now, if you're Harrisburg, they just did on first down. You do not want to rush. Little things in football. Clock management in the last 5 minutes can be crucial. You want to take as much time as you can. The play clock right now is at 25. And the reason you don't want to rush, you want to give McDevitt as little time as possible.
You would think they'd keep it on the ground. Dent is the running back in the backfield with Shank. But don't forget about number 1.
This is good coaching right here, taking time off the clock.
Koch and Lewis are the two wide receivers top of your screen. Both have been dynamic. Handoff goes to Dent. Dent up the middle, plowing his way across the
This is the football game right here.
Into the end zone for the touchdown for Dent in replacing Mickens, who's injured, and Dent has his second touchdown of the game.
This 2-point conversion is everything, because if they don't get it, it's only a 7-point ball game. If they do get it, it's a 2-score game, and not definitely over, but close to being too much to overcome for the Crusaders.
Dent has a 14-yard touchdown and an 8-yard touchdown run, and there was the Faulkner Honda touchdown.
They're going with the muddle huddle to start. Now they can snap it or bring these guys over. It's going to be very interesting what they do here. I think they're going to bring them over and run a formation play. Yes, they are.
Crucial. They get 2 or they get the 1.
They're going to try the extra point. They are going to try to kick this.
Everett is the kicker. Everett's kick is up, and Everett's kick is good. So they, after all
caught
that,
everybody off guard.
After that, they go for the kick.
They caught everybody off guard. Said, we're going to try a first extra point of the season.
We'll be back after this. It's the battle for the Burg. Let's take a look at the Good Feet Store kickoff that just happened, and a good return for the Crusaders as they'll be working in Harrisburg territory.
What a great heads-up play here by the Crusaders at 31. R.J. Duffy, a senior linebacker, takes that ball on one hop and flies down the opposite sideline to give McDevitt the ball at the 34.
And he was kind of out of position to field that kickoff, and he took it and turned it up.
He was on the front line.
R.J. Duffy last week had 11 tackles, led the way for the McDevitt defense in their loss, the team from Canada a week ago. And that's Duffy's big play here for the Crusaders. Sets him up with a 1st and 10 from Harrisburg's 34-yard line, down 29-21 with 4:11 to go. Williams throws towards the end zone as a man, and in and out of the hands. But there is a penalty back at the line of scrimmage, but a beautifully thrown ball and a drop touchdown for McDevitt.
Holding.
A holding
Number 55
on Bishop
on the
McDevitt.
offense.
I wonder if the sun was potentially in his eyes. The sun is in a spot where he's looking right back up into it, and he may have just lost that ball in the sun. It wouldn't have mattered, of course, with the holding call.
So that was number 2, Holton. So take a look here at the pass coming right to Holton, the sophomore, in and out of his hands. Hit his hands, and
he's such a good athlete. I think he lost that ball. I'm going to say that the sun caused that, because he's looking right back sun right over our press box here, and that's the way he was looking.
Holton last year as a freshman at 15 catches, 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. So the hold penalty moves Bishop McDevitt back 10 yards. 1st and 10 from the 44, 4:04 to go here in the 4th quarter.
They still have 4 plays to get 20 yards. Oh, they got a screen, and it's set up very well.
Williams on the screen pass. Was it blocked properly? Well, they get a couple of yards out of it, but still a long way to go for a first.
They got about 6, right?
Yeah, about 6.5 yards on the screen play.
I like the play call. It looks like, who'd they go to, LaRue?
LaRue, number 3, the sophomore.
And you know what? He got back 6 yards. It's 4 down territory. Obviously, down 8 points for McDevitt with 3.5 to go. They have 3 downs to get 14 yards, and they have the offensive firepower to definitely do it as they come out in a no tight end, 3 receivers, 2 back set.
2nd and 14 from the 38. Put it on the ground. Try to go forward. A couple of yards, and that is it.
Koch and Brown both there on the tackle.
That was LaRue Jr. on the carry.
2 downs to get 13 yards.
Harrisburg, of course, scored that touchdown. Their last drive, 7 plays, 40 yards. Dent, second touchdown of the day, an 8-yard TD.
The only run we're going to see here is if the quarterback decides to run it if nobody's open, because 99% they're going to go to the air here.
3rd and 13. They need to get the ball to about the 24-yard line to get a first. Williams has the completion and the first down.
Fumble!
Ball is dropped. Does Harrisburg have it? I think the Cougars got it. There was a catch and a first down, but then the ball was dropped. But will they say he was down? We'll have to wait.
No, it was definitely a fumble. He was started to be tackled. The ball popped out. That was a first down. It looked like completion or close to it.
Take a look. Here's the completion, and then turning upfield.
Oh, he lost it.
Ball was loose, and that is Gage Ruth, who fumbled the football. So Ruth had the catch, turned upfield, and then...
what did he do? He changed hands, and he had it out in his widest hand. You got to tuck that thing away.
Had it down
catch and tuck.
Yeah, had it down with one hand, and the Cougars recover the fumble.
Yeah, you got to be very careful. I don't think he expected somebody coming from behind him, an arm coming to strip that thing. He put it in his right outside hand, but not tucked away. Horrible misfortune for the Crusaders, and the Cougars are right on the spot to tip that ball away, but it would have been 1st and 10 from inside the 25-yard line for McDevitt. McDevitt they still have 2 timeouts left with 2:16 to go. They can get it back. They got to play really hard defense here.
1st and 10 for Harrisburg. From
you know it's going to be run.
25.
You know the run play's coming.
There goes Dent. He has 14 yards and a first down right up the middle. Goes Princeton Dent, and that is a 1-800 got junk first down.
Now if you're Harrisburg, you want to run the play clock. I hate to be repetitive, but it's so important. If you're McDevitt, you got to use 2 timeouts, but you're not going to be able to stop it after the 3rd down play because you'll be out of timeouts.
Bishop McDevitt on the verge of starting the season 0-2 for the first time since 2017. That year they lost to Harrisburg 35-0 in week 1, and then lost their second game to Cumberland Valley 49-23. They started the season 0-2 in 2017. But they bounced back after that and won a bunch of games that year.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat.
5-yard penalty.
Now they should not. Let's see if it's going to repeat first down. I mentioned McDevitt has 2 timeouts remaining. They are going to use them after first down and after second down. But they cannot use it after one of these downs. Harrisburg has to hold on to the football, and McDevitt needs to come in and try to strip the ball as best they can. But you're still, McDevitt will get the ball back if Harrisburg cannot get a first down.
Dent on the handoff was almost tackled for a loss, but
he ran out of
goes
bounds.
Forward and he gets out of
The
bounds.
last thing you want to do is run out of bounds. Now McDevitt can use 2 timeouts and get the ball back with, that's 40 seconds to cost themselves right there.
Stop the clock.
These are little details that you, as a coaching staff, you always have to go over with your players.
Gets out of bounds at the 44-yard line.
Now it's a moot point if Harrisburg gets a first down in the next 2 plays.
1:25 to go, fourth quarter. Handoff, line of scrimmage, that's it.
And now you got a timeout from the Crusaders. And they will take another one after 3rd down, which means if they don't get a first down here on this next play.
There's a timeout on the field. Time for our school bus stop of the game.
This is the school bus stop of the game, presented by NHTSA. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Defense is always a story, especially here in the second half, but this was a big stop here. The interception coming up and getting the INT for Harrisburg, one of the turnovers that they committed, and that was our school bus stop of the game.
This is the school bus stop of the game, presented by NHTSA. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Bishop McDevitt, should they stop this 3rd and 7, call an immediate timeout, is going to get the ball back with over a minute to play, rather than get the ball back with about 20 to 25 seconds. Had the running back for Harrisburg just fallen down inbounds.
The smallest, littlest things as a coach, right?
Yes.
Sometimes can really come back and be the difference of putting a game away or giving your opponent an opportunity to stay in it. Harrisburg looking to defeat their rival Bishop McDevitt for the 3rd straight time in this series. Of course, Bishop McDevitt, they have the series lead in the battle for the Burg, 21-16 overall.
I may throw the ball here.
Yeah,
I may throw the ball.
I think so. They might. 3rd and 7. They're going to keep it on the ground. It's Dent who's tackled at the line of scrimmage. So the McDevitt defense coming up and making the plays they need to make, and another timeout here by McDevitt, their last one of the game. It's time now for our play of the game. Let's take a look. Heating up, the play of the game this afternoon was this big fumble. Gage had the first down and then fumbled the football away. That was a huge point of the game. Gage Ruth with the catch and the fumble. And there's our play of the game. Could have been the difference. Could have gave the Crusaders an opportunity. But you like how much time is Bishop McDevitt going to have on that clock when they get the football back?
A minute, a little over a minute. Here's the thing. The Eschenauer and Sons play of the game, that's the play of the game so far.
Yes.
If McDevitt is able to come down there and get the touchdown and go for 2 and make it, what happens if a high school game ends in regulation since 1996?
Overtime.
Ends in tie in regulation. Overtime. We had this last year. You alluded to it earlier. There was an overtime here in 1999. This game is far from over.
Yeah, the 1999 game, Harrisburg won it 36-35. And then the second overtime game in this series was last year, a 35-33 win. So Harrisburg won both games in overtime.
They're going to punt from shotgun.
4th and 9 from the 40. And there's a penalty marker down.
Is it a delay of game?
I think so.
Too many players in the field.
Illegal substitution.
Yep.
On the offense, 12 men on the field. Still 4th down.
McDevitt had too many players. Fortunately for McDevitt, Harrisburg still is going to punt on 4th and 5 rather than go for it.
Here you can count up the players on the screen here as we freeze it.
But you got to put somebody back. You got to take a linebacker out, or even numbers, put a skill guy back there because they're going to punt it. They're not going for it. He's already back an extra 2 yards from shotgun.
Here's the punt. Nobody back there to receive it, so
just let it roll if you're Harrisburg. Let it roll as long as it can.
Takes a little bit of a Harrisburg roll across the 20-yard line down to the 19. So that's where Bishop McDevitt will have the football with 1:04 to go in the fourth quarter. McDevitt to have the football at the 19-yard line, down 29-21.
Imagine having somebody back there around the 30 to 25 to get that, a skill guy from McDevitt, and he has a chance to run that back, even if he gets 10 yards or so on the return.
So what are you thinking there as a coach not having a return man?
Well, you got to cover all 5 receivers. I would have just taken a D lineman or a linebacker out.
So you're trying to avoid them faking the
well, I don't think they're going to fake on 4th and 5. It's too much to do in your own territory.
But not to have someone back to receive the punt.
Yeah, they're concerned about them going for it, yes. Now, Harrisburg has too many guys in the field. Just ran a guy off, didn't get a penalty on it.
Williams, incomplete. Again, another drop ball by the receivers, and that was Palmer who dropped that football. It was a little high, but Palmer had 2 hands on the football but wasn't able to hold on to it.
Quite honestly, had Palmer caught that and gotten hit right there, it would have been in play without getting a first down, and the clock would move. If you're McDevitt, you want to throw the ball beyond 10 yards, unless somebody's going to catch it and run after the catch in a nice spot. But you can't afford to not get out of bounds and be less than 10 yards, because that clock is your enemy and you have no timeouts left. We're at 59.
Under a minute by a second, 59 seconds. Williams was hit as he threw the football. Looking for Palmer again, but hit from behind. Palmer's getting up slowly. So is Williams, the quarterback.
He's in a tough situation right now, Williams is, obviously. You got to go 81 yards, and you only have 54 seconds to do it.
3rd and 10.
And the Cougars are playing a version of a prevent defense. They still have a 4-man rush, but their linebackers are dropped back. Their corners, they have an extra safety in the game. They took out a linebacker, and they only have 3 linebackers and 4 defensive backs. Bubble, nice play.
LaRue Jr., but penalty on Bishop McDevitt before the play started.
Nice idea to just get the ball to a skill guy in the flat quickly and get him to get upfield and get yardage and then get out of bounds.
Snap infraction on the center, 52. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Slover, the senior center, called for the penalty.
If you're Harrisburg, you want to be in a prevent defense of some sort like they are, but any short play with some lead blockers and the skill guys McDevitt has, they can get some serious yardage.
We're going to add a few more seconds onto the clock.
Yeah, because that was a dead ball foul. They're going to back to 50, was it 59?
Last year, Harrisburg did a good job of sacking the quarterback. They had 34 sacks a season ago. They can put this game away with a sack here. McDevitt out of timeouts. Harrisburg has 2.
54 seconds it's at. Good job by the official to know that those 2 seconds were coming off when it was a dead ball penalty.
3rd and 15. Pressure. Williams still on his feet, looking downfield, has the completion.
Big 4th down, and you have the clock moving.
So it's going to be 4th and short after the
can't
catch.
spike it. Got to line up and make this first down.
4th down, 30 seconds to go after the completion by Williams. They need enough for a first. Out of the backfield, running to try to get the first is Barnes.
He got it, but the clock's going to start again as soon as the ball's put in play.
Penalty. I think there was a penalty flag down on Barnes. Did have enough for the 1-800-GOT-JUNK first down.
Illegal procedure on the offense. 5 in the backfield.
Oh, they didn't have enough guys in the line of scrimmage. That flag was thrown immediately on the snap. I didn't see it. You got to have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage for every offensive play. And they apparently only had 6 on the line. One of the receivers most likely was not lined up. They're going to start the clock here.
So now a 4th.
Clock's moving.
A 4th and short turns into a 4th and much longer, about a 4th and 7.
Clock's at 10.
Clock under 10 seconds at 7. 4th down. It'll be the final play of the game. The completion needs to get out of bounds. The game is over. Game is over. They have the completion, would have had enough for a 1st down, but ran out of time. And Jeff Wechter and his team are 0-2 for the first time since 2017. Harrisburg wins the Battle of the Burg. They win it 29-21. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this. You've been watching the WellSpan Orthopedics Friday Night Rivals, a very special Saturday afternoon edition. The 38th annual, the Battle of the Burg, goes to the mighty Cougars. They beat the Crusaders 29-21.